अभी बोला करते हैं ऐसा।
हेलो। हेलो। I'm audible.
Yeah, hi, you are audible. I think we all are waiting for Dr. S.K. Gupta, sir. Uh, right?
Just wait for a few minutes.
Yeah, right. Sir is
Yes.
here, I believe. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir, audible.
Am I
Hello.
audible?
Audible, sir, audible.
Yeah. So thank you all for
Yes,
joining.
yes, yes.
I'm sorry for being late. It was a technical glitch by for me.
It's
Okay.
okay, sir.
Uh, the link was working, but my
No problem, sir. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Tanishka Sharma on behalf of ICMI Social Auditors Organization. Due to some urgent meeting, Dr. S.K. Gupta sir is unable to join. So, I warmly welcome you all today in today's interactive online bootcamp on social impact assessment. It's pleasure to have such an engaged audience joining us for insightful session. So, to begin with, let me briefly introduce the concept of social impact assessment (SIA). SIA is a process used to analyze, monitor, and manage the social consequences of projects, policies, and programs. It helps that the development is inclusive, sustainable, and beneficial for all stakeholders. So now, without taking much time, I would like to invite our first speaker, Mr. R.J. Mishra, sir, an ESG and sustainability professional, to share his insights on social impact assessment. Over to you, sir.
thank you. Uh, uh, I am online from a mobile. Pardon me because my laptop is hanging out. So I'm unable to share the PPT, but I will make sure the PPT I'll share with you via mail. So thank you very much for joining all the participants and a very good afternoon. Uh, I have been, I suppose, most of you I see, I remember names that I have been interacting in last some classes and something like that. So, it's quite, familiar with names if I can browse upon. And it's good to have. As I uh, as I've been a practitioner of impact assessment since long, working with multilaterals, then think tanks, now corporates and certification bodies. It is the most important juncture we are rightly and correctly in is uh, the voices of the external stakeholders. Okay, the voices of the external stakeholders beyond the company boundary are now being listened, okay, and being advocated also. In that case, when we talk of organizations like ICMA, social auditors organization, or there are other social auditors organization, they play a vital role. We as assessors play a vital role in this. Why we play a vital role? Because it is our independence, it is our independent view on specific uh, projects, specific initiatives that we are assessing that is being taken care. Uh, I understand, people would, people are curious about. Last time when I talked of, something that they're curious about knowing what research methodology. Even I was asked about what research methodology was, how to do a correct assessment. Is there a proper checklist or something like that? But I would say mm, there is no proper checklist. I'll tell you so far. There are frameworks. Okay, there are frameworks, but no proper checklist. And that is so that should be. Because if I go with a checklist, because every project is unique in its own way, every demography is unique in its own. And what I'll be doing is comparing, somehow literally apples with oranges. Because I'll tell you, a health initiative in northern India will differ from northeast. A health initiative of eastern India might differ even in the southeast region. So when our culture changes in every 100 or 50 kilometers, If you expect something that is done for the society will have a robust checklist, it cannot have. First. Then how to do a good assessment? Some research is required. I admit that there is a point that how to do quantitatively we measure. We know the mean, media, average, all those things. Those are very standard practices. But apart from that, there are few statistics, F statistics, T statistics, a very broader view I am giving, that actually finds out the nitty gritty of the quantitative findings. But while we talk of the qualitative findings, okay, the qualitative findings are rare. The qualitative findings are, why I say rare is to articulate it perfectly, we need something, a very 360 view of that. Suppose I say my, my beneficiaries, I have 20,000 beneficiaries and they are all happy. How do we measure happiness? Anybody can say, please be interactive. How do you measure happiness?
Firstly, I think, as a impact assessment auditor, you might not have received any adverse comments from the population. And number two, at random, few people you have checked, and all of them are happy.
Yes, sir. But we, in that case, we need to have also a good happiness can be judged by the body language, the way they are replying. Okay. Somehow a good, somehow it is good, it is good, it is very well, it is very good, very, very good, it is overwhelming. We have to keep a boundary on these words while we are talking. Okay. Because I'll be candid, almost 50% of the time, almost 50% of the time, you won't be able to gather all the quantitative indicators or KPIs. It is impossible. If you actually see that you go to a village, very remotest village, okay, and you ask them, you rate this from 1 to 5, okay, they okay, and it is true. It's not something survey that is going on. So we are talking to the bottom of the pyramid who are might be unaware of what we are talking. We are talking of AI, we are talking of ESG, carbon credits, whatnot, machine learning. They might be only, you know, talking of their food and shelter or even what to wear. So let's be very, and the first approach of an impact assessor would be at least to the beneficiary or the samples, be empathetic. Okay. Uh, they might not be in a very good state. Okay, they might not be in a very good state, but you have to, because your job is to be, to get the impact assessment done. So there lies your presence of mind to make the beneficiary and your sample comfortable with you, so that he, she, or they open up. Again, someone, okay, so one factor also is we have to also be very sensitive about the adherence or the demographic things, like, you know hello. So one is, I would tell, there are communities where you can, asking what's your age, what, you have to be very cautious religiously. culturally very cautious while asking. Those are the very small things, but you have to take care of it. I understand you as an impact assessor will only lead a team. Okay, there are few other enumerators or a few other assisting you to do that, but you have to educate them also. You cannot be rude to them. You have to be very sensitive, but along with it, you have to be articulative. You have to articulate whatever they say. Okay, their facial expression towards the initiative is important. What is the perception? Okay, the impact is shown by the perception of the beneficiaries only. Okay, if I as a beneficiary doesn't do not get impacted by whatever, suppose you do, you provide me uh, some good hospitals or nearby, whatever initiatives or education, if it is of no use to me, then no, the assessment, then the impact is nullified. And that is why in one of my sessions, I told you a baseline or a baseline assessment is important. A baseline assessment is that's why important. We need to know the need of the society, the need of that community, what we are, which in which we are trying to invest in, which in which we are doing to go to an initiative. A baseline assessment is important. Somehow, you'll see it is the whims and fancies of the board members, the chairman, that we want to do like this, we want to do like that. It's not like that. So please be, rest assured. Uh, do not, you'll get most of the things like that. They do not have a baseline. The even the initiatives will be, not fit for that community. But still, but still, as an impact assessor, you have a job to do. So you have to find the impact. If there is no impact, there is no impact. Sometimes you have to blunt because your report has to be independent. And you have to gather as much as data before going to field. You have to gather as much as data, the secondary MIS system, the concept note of the concept note of the initiatives, why the initiative was taken, the baseline assessment, how monitoring evaluation is done, M&E, what are the KPIs, are the KPIs justified, have the KPIs being evolved through the years, all these things you have to do a very good secondary research before going to the field. And again, I've been telling you multiple times, while addressing the questionnaire, make sure your questionnaires fit to the community, fit to the beneficiaries. Do not make the questionnaire lengthy so that there is a fatigue to the beneficiaries. They keep on answering, they keep on answering. Make it short, make it smart, and make it uh, it adheres to the what are the KPIs they're trying to address. It should be that. Second, do a pilot. Do test the pilot of the questionnaire. Is your questionnaire doing the justice? Please do test that. Otherwise, it will have no value in doing a full impact assessment if the questionnaire is, uh, the questionnaire is a flawed one. That is one. Second, the new concept that has come in, not a new concept, but from the social return on investment. Most of the matured clients, most of the matured organizations, you can say Nifty 200 or 300 companies, for their impact assessment, they're at least currently I'm in Bangalore doing the same thing. They're asking for a social return on investment. Okay, analysis. So that I would suggest all of you to go through, what exactly social return on investment is, what social value international is. Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi, the audience is varied, speaking in Hindi. We can talk one to one if you have my number uh, or my coordinates. we have a actually variety of clients. So please. So that's one. And the second part, which I am trying to address here is, I've been asking, let's plan also. I'll ask some of the, let's plan also because most of us are cost management accountants. Somehow this social research methodology is new to us, or it's a bit, we do not need to know the entirety of the social research methodology. We need to know only the peripheral one. Okay. Do not seek that we need advanced statistics or something like that. We do not need that. Of course, social return on investment is one tool that you will be familiar with because you have been, cost consultants and all. You'll be familiar with. You can do it very easily. Pardon. I can open the floor for discussion. Yes, Sanjeev Kumar Mahajan. First is return on social investment. Second one is social return on investment, and the organization which which defines that is called Social Value International. Hindi I would have, but we have audience from different parts of country. So please, if you want to have one-to-one chat, I can always have no issues. We can have sessions on specifically Hindi or English or something like that. But it should not be done because we have other problems. So this is my number. Okay, the floor is open. Anyone, anything, please ask.
So thank you, sir. Thank you for your insights. Now I would like to invite Mr. Kaushal Kishore Kumar, sir, a senior manager at NSC, to share his perspective and practical insights on social impact assessment. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, and
Hello, Taufik.
thank you,
Hello, Taufik.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Arjay ji, to setting a great context to what it is, and you rightly said I'm going to pick up from the point you mentioned that because of the cost accounting and most of the people who are into social impact assessment, they are finance professionals. So we
Yes,
mostly know peripherals of the entire thing, whereas social research is such an ocean, right?
yes,
And we have to build our capacity in terms of assessing the project in the right manner, because as you said that the every project is different. Even if two similar projects are getting implemented in the same geography, their outcome will be different, their approach will be different. So once you go for the assessment of the project, your entire methodology will differ, right? So that is where, like, and then again a lot of, like, other things, the different mindfulness and your selection thing, that what kind of methodology you're getting into. If we are going for mixed methods, then what kind of tools you are using, and a lot of things, right? So the most important thing here comes in is how well the project is designed, right? And how you pick up different outcome indicators, or, like, how you're going to assess the project. So that is where the first base point for every impact assessor would be to go through the project object very well. Try to so call the information, see how this project was envisioned, and, like, what it was trying to achieve, right? Because it's just not about the project design, but same time they have also covered certain risks and mitigations. So you have to connect everything in understanding. And other thing is, like, how well you know how NPO ecosystem works, how they implement the project, right? Because many a times you will ask one question and you will get such a kind of lengthy answer, but how you kind of incorporate those feedback in a very precise way and make it a kind of qualitative analysis, but at the same time how it is quantifying and creating a measurable and verifiable, like, outcome of the project. So a lot of things. So yeah, you're trying to say
I would
something,
actually,
Arjun?
Yeah, so I would here, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, no,
Uh,
please go. Please feel free
okay,
to.
so
Yeah.
you'd be knowing that the World Happiness Index is measured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So there is a report. Every year the report comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we have to derive the methodology from there itself. How
Mm-hmm.
to, if I say, अगर मतलब चलो हिंदी में बात करते हैं, one of two persons are telling to talk in हिंदी. अगर मैं सोचूं मैं खुश हूँ, मैं
Mm-hmm.
बहुत खुश हूँ और मैं प्रफुल्लित हूँ, तो there are
Mm-hmm.
difference. There are difference. So how do you judge that? How do you
Yeah.
judge that? So एक है कि we take the qualitative input and
Yeah.
interpret the same into a quantitative one.
Yeah.
बिकॉज आप जब रिपोर्ट असेसमेंट या बोर्ड को जाएगा या फिर वेबसाइट में जाएगा, वो तो नंबर्स में ही दिखेंगे, सो उसको आपको नंबर्स में दिखाने हैं.
Right.
बट मेरा जो बेनिफिशियरी है, मेरा बेनिफिशियरी तो बॉटम ऑफ द पिरामिड का एक ट्राइबल है, शायद एक ट्राइबल है या एक रूरल है या स्लम में है, उसको मैं अगर बोलूंगा 1 से 10 में रेट करने के लिए, इसको अगर मैं बोल दूंगा तो इट
Mm-hmm.
डजंट मतलब वर्क लाइक दैट. सो इट्स ओके, यू कैन
Yeah.
कंटिन्यू. Okay,
Yeah. So
I'm.
no, no, that's a very valuable kind of input. And what I mean, once we go through that project and once we see that the NPO is coming to me and asking for that assessment, so that having that knowledge of project is not complete, knowledge of the project, but we should also have mindfulness of how similar projects work, right? How the project costing was done, and accordingly you have to study some parallel projects also, so that you'll be able to have some comparative analysis as well. It's not like what is written and what the documents are given to us, and basis that you will do some sort of desk research, see that how the entire project has been designed, what was its objective and scope, and then you will create a kind of like research objective of your project, that assessment part. And then comes the real thing, that how you are going to assess the real impact. Certainly, like then you will have approach and methodology, you will have sampling in place, right? Because once you are doing sampling, right, methodology is also very important, right? So what kind of research method you are adopting, same time your sample should also be statistically significant. So a lot of things are there, and top of that, once you have been a part of some project, so if somebody is really looking uh, for becoming like impact assessor, then try to include yourself in multiple research programs, maybe start being a part of some of the projects also, where you can act as a kind of monitoring and evaluation part time basis only, because everybody has their job, so they cannot do it that way. But as a volunteer, you can always serve like one Saturday, one Sunday to some of the projects, right? That will certainly increase your happiness index, that but at the same time, like you will be able to incorporate all those learnings about this ecosystem of the social sector, right? So you want to speak something, Arjit? Yeah.
So just adding to your point. Okay.
Yeah.
So just adding to your point, want to like to tell the audience also. Suppose we don't get an opportunity of doing a social impact assessment. Okay,
Mhm.
we can write a research paper also. Now, while
Yeah.
doing a research paper, we know how the methodology works. Uh, there are a lot of call for papers, research opportunities in private. There are a lot of private universities right now in India. Okay, associate with any
Yeah.
professors, your choice. Learn that because it will help on. And
Yeah.
this market is going to expand, so opportunities will come. So do not worry about that.
Right. So apart, yeah, so along with that, you can be a part of some of the professional bodies into like, monitoring evaluation. There are so many knowledge sites also where you read a lot of research. You can see that what kind of programs have been evaluated on what kind of different approaches and methodologies. So a lot of things are there, a lot of books are written. So once I become impact assessor, and we go through one material, study material, that does not mean that there is no dearth of knowledge available. And once we are serious about becoming one, then there's a lot of lot of ways to engage with veterans in evaluations, right? And in researches, you can write to different professors, write to different think tanks also, that this is what the concept of social stock exchange is. And there is still a kind of bit of divide between social impact assessors for social stock exchange, right? And having their kind of skill sets mostly towards finance side rather than social side. But it's not like it's a rocket science. And certainly you can go through Google Scholar, you can research around that. There is one website that I know, I love referring to, that is called mande.co.uk. So you can see there, even AI has been now included in this. So it's starting it started you're doing some research in Excel sheet, then softwares like SPSS and Stata came in place, then our programming came in place, then you're doing some integration with Python as well. And now in Excel sheet also you can kind of integrate your Jupyter notebook to use Python and RStudio. But at the same time, now AI is also playing a lot of role. So the point is, more we know about what is the current, what is going in, what is the current trend in research, that will always help you in coming up with the best assessment reports. I can give you one example. Almost 1.5 years ago, when I saw somebody's, flyer that they are social impact assessor, and they were talking about what they do, what is their approach and methodology, and certain things were written that I really started laughing on. So with all due regards, we have to accept that we are not social professional, and there is a lot of scope of learning. And once you start exploring one, it will kind of unlock to second, unfold to third, and that is how gradually we will start knowing most of the ecosystem people, right? And who are the best researchers, and gradually you will start reading their reports. That will create some kind of muscle memory, your interest, and that is how it happens. I mean, a lot of things that you can ask ChatGPT also, that how you can unfold the entire universe of social impact assessment, and what are the basic things that we can learn. So we both are trying to say that there's miles to go, and certainly once, and that will always help us becoming a better professional in social impact assessment. And I believe that we have 15-20 minutes, and this is such a kind of wide and deep topic. So would request if people have questions, and I'm also going to read some of the questions. Yeah, so I'm going one by one. So these reports are already available on our website, on NSE. So you can go through them, all the projects listed. So right now, if I talk about NSE SSE, we have 16 projects listed who got listed in the last month, and they have raised over 44, over 44.5 crore. And right now our pipeline is quite big, and we are expecting 18 projects going to mobilize over 80 crore. Many are in making, and people are really waiting for CSR to happen, UPI to go a little more. But some good news I'm surely going to share, that when we talk about SSC and different kind of donors coming on the platform, so institutional and non-institutional, they are a bit stagnant. But when we talk about this retail donors, especially after this 1,000 rupees minimum donation size introduction, uh, so in last 3 years, I can tell you that first year there were around 20 donors. Second year it became almost 50 to 60 donors. But third year, this year, we have witnessed more than 600 donors, retail donors. And in last two projects, kind of So I can give you one example of Unnati's third project listed on the platform. They did it last month, and they had almost like 71 different donors. Out of 71, they were not aware of 53 donors. I mean, about 53 donors they were not aware about before. So this is the power of, like, organic donation, where you strengthen the system and call it retail philanthropy. Like, anybody, you and I can do it, starting from 1,000 rupees. So a lot of things are happening. We are working on some sort of, like, human centered design based social and behavior change communication thing as well, which is very much progressing well. So a lot of things are happening, and these all reports are there. If you see our first project and last, first 5 project, and then next 10, 11 projects, project by project, even the project, object and the project designing is improving, like, a lot, and that is giving a lot of help to social impact assessors. So certainly, like, as an assessor, I can evaluate something well only when the project is designed well, when the project is talking about all the indicators in a very much, like, rightfully manner, in a kind of methodological way, where theory of change and logical frameworks are well defined, right? KPIs are well defined, so all those things are there on our website. Then yeah, so yeah, Paragji is saying that happy to connect, as I'm currently doing my PhD at IIM, and my thesis. Oh, amazing! So I've been helping few of the students, to write their, kind of papers and thesis on social stock exchange. So happy to connect. I'm just writing my email ID here. If you would like to connect, I'm just sending my mobile number as well, just in case if it is required.
Okay, so Marshall, I have a request actually.
Yes.
Sending across to
Yeah.
can we have a broader panel discussion or a discussion, not on
Yeah.
web, on
Mhm.
face to face and physical basis. We can
Yeah.
of course devise a program because what Kaushal I feel is there's some lack of awareness because this
Mhm.
sector has been fragmented a lot. Because I
Mhm.
have been interacting with all the participants and all
Yeah.
doing a
Yeah.
lot. So I would request if that can be devised with and NSC can one of be the instruments of it. We would actually love to do that. Even I would talk to Dr. Gupta for that
Mhm.
because we need a kind of a medium scale show to do that because nobody is aware of what exactly एक section 8 company को कैसे scale out किया जाता है कैसे ये होता है so let's very be
Yeah.
vocal
Yeah.
थोड़ा
No, so
मतलब
you are right, and in fact, we have been doing certain programs with other SROs as well. Apart from that, also we have our own flagship kind of awareness seminars, calling accelerating social impact with social stock exchange. So there, what we do, apart from plenary session and all those things, what we also do is, like, we have different panel discussions. So one is about the entire framework, plus adding some collaboration part, how raising fund, can be approached. Then we also talk about the new innovative, instruments like innovative financing, outcome-based funding through development impact bond and social impact bond. We also integrate something like social impact assessment, and for that we invite all the top assessors as in, like, who have been, like, veterans for so many years, even when SSC was not there, but they are researchers. They have worked for big think tanks and research agencies, like, so they are, like, we have been doing that, but certainly, like, the more is merrier, and still it is drop in the ocean, right? So we can plan for that, and let's do that.
yes
Then yeah, so some question is, are AI responses reliable? It's not like, we always say that AI cannot be our master if you're using it as your assistant with your knowledge, right? Then only it can be helpful. Otherwise, it's mostly hallucinating. Still, like, it's not the reliable one. Personally, this is my personal opinion for sure. Yeah. So, would you have any updates on Light of Life? I would have got the name wrong. I think it's going on. Not it's not light of life. But yeah, Ray of Hope. So you know that a lot of things are going in capital market. I mean, in the globe, like geopolitics is kind of a bit. A lot of chaos was there. So many companies like were in the process of listing, and a bit delays are there, especially when we talk about the raise, because they also have to work on their funders. It's not like that you come with your project or listing and then everything will be funded through the retail one. You have to work on your anchor funder as well. So when the time is right, they will come. And right now, I would say that in few months only, they are targeting to list as the first
Thank you,
FPG.
sir.
Yeah. And can you recommend good impact assessment agencies in Mumbai? It's there on the website, and you can get in touch with Crisil. You can get in touch with some more, but uh, let me research like who are here, and even Deloitte has, and the big fours have that. But when it comes to like assessment of a smaller project, probably that won't be like financially affordable for most of the NPOs,
So
because they are.
may I ask a question over
Yeah.
here? That was
Yeah.
my question asking you for the agencies, because once we clear this NSM
Yeah.
examination for SCA, we are expected to
Mhm.
be spending another 2 years or 3 years with an agency. Now,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
the sector by itself is so novice, where the agency's expertise is also a question in our minds, where we associate ourselves also need to be like having some kind of validation that yes, fine, we are going to the right place to do
Mhm.
those 2 years is a big time to spend with an agency and getting this
Right.
practical
Right.
experience. So, I
Okay.
mean, how one gets in guidance over that? You can't
What I can do,
do that.
certainly, sector is not novice. The platform is evolving, we can say. Sector is quite deep rooted in India also. And, it's such a huge sector. If I give you one example, a common, like, the problem of FCRA, at one go, whenever, that backfired, thousands of people became unemployed. When we talk about Care India and all those, so lot of organizations are doing great job in the sector, right? We have lakhs of NPOs, but thousands are doing wonderful job even for research, social assessment. It's quite deep rooted. The great people doing great job in assessment field also. So allow me a few days, and certainly you can ping me, or like you can write to me. I will
I will
just not,
write to you, sir, because
kind of suggest you some organization, but I will also give
no,
you the
that's fine.
contact of the person
Thank you, sir.
to whom, like, you can approach.
So I'm
And
Sushma Bhatt. I'll be sending you a mail on this
surely,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
intend to clear this NISM exam now
yeah,
very
yeah.
soon. So I'd come
Mm.
back to you. Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay,
Thanks. Yeah,
sir,
so I think,
I have a
yeah.
request. I have a request from a association. There is something called a TIC Council, Testing Inspection Council.
Mhm.
These certification bodies, Bureau Veritas, TUVSGS, they
Mhm.
have their core. So they wanted to collaborate with you, with NSC for this social impact
Okay.
assessment to get it,
Mhm.
formalized. Okay, to get it formalized.
Mhm.
So would you like to? Because they have a request. They told if you're talking to Kaushal, that please,
No,
if
no. So let's have a call in the next week. Maybe Tuesday
okay,
on or Wednesday we can have a call, and then we can take this
okay,
forward.
please. Okay.
Yes. Any other questions? SEO proficiency, or these are suggestions. Let me copy and paste it here. Yeah, there should be amendment in social impact eligibility criteria for doing social auditor. I'm certainly going to pass it to NISM. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Artiji. I'm going to just copy this feedback and we'll share with looking after this thing.
Yes, that is one of the goal. bottleneck. So rightfully, Atiji has wanted that as one of the bottlenecks.
I'm glad that it's not question, but suggestions are also coming in. Yeah, readiness to include individual proprietor concerns to register as entity for SIS so that the more SIA can participate. See, this is all like, NISM's baby. So certainly we can try to kind of reiterate this as a feedback, or like kind of try to write it as a feedback. Let's see. I mean, I'm going to pass this as well to them. Yeah.
Yes.
So
People also,
anything else we have to? I think we are
I,
done, right?
yes. So I've been advocating, the structure should be also, we should also be aligning with social return on investment.
See, as
That's,
social impact assessor, please go through some of the great reports written, read some
yes.
impact assessment studies, how it has been, it is approached, and a lot of things. Like, certainly there is a lot of scope of improvement, and with passing time, we are going to be better always. Yeah, so I think thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Uh, it sounds like a kind of monologue because, and thanks to Arjaji who literally made it a bit interactive, tried. Yeah, so and that is why panel discussion is better, where like 4 or 5 people are talking and one person is asking. So it does not make you feel a bit embarrassed that you are just speaking, and there is nothing at all. Thanks. Yeah, some question. I think somebody is trying to ask some question. Oh, yeah. Thanks.
So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining, and thank you to both the esteemed speakers for giving their insights, and all the interactive audience. Have a
Thanks a
good
lot.
day.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.